Precedent has shown that this process is reserved for actions so egregious, so contrary to the core values of this institution, that we must act immediately to restore public trust.
That was Chicago Democratic State Representative Curtis Tarver Thursday, opening up the Illinois House Special Investigating Committee into Urbana Democratic State Representative Carol Ammons. Welcome back to the States. I'm Greg Bishop. That bipartisan committee decided it will move forward with their investigation into a number of complaints against that Central Illinois legislator, but only after the special committee receives input from the U.S. Attorney's Office that brought those charges against Ammons. So what exactly is Ammons facing? Well, the charges that are filed in federal court against her, multiple counts of wire fraud, providing false statements, and her husband, Aaron Ammons, also charged in this set of crimes. They've both pleaded not guilty with the trial set for September 22nd. If found guilty, up to 15 years in prison could be part of that punishment. Now, Tarver, chairing this special investigating committee, he made clear that Ammons will have rights all throughout.
Counsel also informed Representative Ammons that pursuant to the House rules, she will receive notice of all committee hearings. She has the right to be present and has the right to counsel during all the committee meetings. And she will have the opportunity to present at all hearings and to testify as otherwise, or testify with any relevant information.
Now, Tarver entered into the record and the staff and attorneys for the committee notifying Ammons' attorneys of the hearings and their right to appear and also to answer questions.
Counsel Bray spoke with Attorney Akbar and Attorney Rini about this process, and they informed counsel that neither Representative Ammons, they informed that neither Representative Ammons nor they would attend today's hearing, given that it's organizational in nature.
Now, the first hearing yesterday at the Illinois State House for that special investigating committee was only largely procedural. Now, Tarver said that Ammons was federally charged, but hasn't been convicted. And they clarified that the hearing and the committee are set to determine only if she would be punished or removed from the House.
While Representative Ammons has been indicted, she has not been convicted of any crime. Under the Constitution, she's presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt following a fair trial. This committee is not a court of law, and we are not judging innocence or guilt. Rather, we are tasked with inquiring into the underlying facts to determine whether reasonable grounds exist for the discipline to be pursued by the House.
Now, Tarver reiterated that Ammons is invited to take part in the House process. Ammons was not present at the hearing yesterday, though the committee made Ammons aware of her right to appear with legal representation at all of the committee meetings.
The rights of Representative Ammons will be respected, and she will be given the opportunity to defend herself. Representative Ammons and her counsel will receive as much notice and information as possible. Representative Ammons and her counsels will have the right to be present at all public hearings. Representative Ammons will have the right to speak to the substances of these charges and provide this committee with any evidence that she believes will clear her of the charges against her.
Again, Ammons pleading not guilty in federal court. Her husband, Aaron, who is also the Champaign County clerk, pleading not guilty. They've got a trial set for September 22nd. We'll be monitoring that closely. We'll also be monitoring what's next for this bipartisan committee. But as Tarver, the co-chair of the committee, you've got Republican State Representative Dan Ugasti also on the committee. And Thursday, he noted that the hearing should remain nonpartisan.
While I can only speak for myself based upon discussions with other members, I believe much of what I say may be true for the Republican members of the committee and possibly all members. We have been asked to investigate, by all reasonable means, potential misconduct of a member and then determine if reasonable grounds exist to authorize charges against the member named in the petition. This is not a task to be taken lightly. It must be done transparently and seek the truth as to whether the misconduct alleged in the petition occurred. It is a serious assignment that I do not believe any of us ever sought when elected to the House, but were willing to undertake when asked. both to make certain that Representative Ammons is treated fairly during the investigation, and at the same time, the integrity of the Illinois House of Representatives is protected.
Again, Ammons being charged with federal crimes. Alleged in that indictment is that she helped get contracts for nonprofits to her districts, which were hiring her daughter. There were also questions raised about campaign contributions and how those were characterized and paid back to Ammons. That, of course, is all part of that federal indictment filed several weeks ago where Ammons pleaded not guilty. Now, Republican State Representative Adam Niemer, he said, this should be a turning point for Illinois.
This committee cannot become another Springfield exercise in delays, doublespeak, excuses, and more political protections for insiders. Decades of scandal have destroyed the public's trust in state government. This must end. We cannot allow Illinois to continue to be known for corruption and ethical misconduct. We must follow the facts, conduct a thorough and transparent investigation, and hold Rep. Ammons accountable if she violated the public's trust. Today's hearing is only the beginning. We have a serious and somber task ahead of us. I am committed to giving this task the seriousness and level of commitment it deserves, and I hope all of us here will do the same.
Republican State Representative C.D. Davidsmeyer, one of the signatories that launched the Special Investigating Committee into Representative Ammons, addressed the committee regarding an amended version of that petition that led to the creation of the committee. Davidsmeyer said 4 charges from the initial petition, which included the entire indictment against Ammons, were removed in an amended version, which was agreed upon by the 11 initial signatories. Now, the last time a Special Investigating Committee convened at the State House was when the legislature sought to respond to charges that former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan faced back in 2020. Current House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch, he chaired that committee when Madigan was the Speaker of the Illinois House. But Welch, back then in 2020, he called it a sham political trial, denying that Democrats were protecting Madigan. Welch said, in ending that committee without any action, that they were, quote, guardians of the process against Republicans looking to go after Madigan, who was named as Public Official A in indictments against ComEd. Now, the former speaker, he was found guilty eventually by a jury in 2025. Those corruption charges he faced ended up landing him 7.5 years in a federal prison where he's now serving. Now, Davidsmeyer, yesterday, he said that he was more trusting in the current committee investigating Ammons. He told the Center Square outside of the committee room, I think Chairman Tarver will do a good job. I think I have a lot of respect for how he looks at things. It will be a little bit more robust than the committee that was kind of swept under the rug for Speaker Madigan. And so I think we'll see a little bit more out of this committee. Now, that committee voted to contact the U.S. Attorney's Office that brought the indictment against Ammons before moving forward with a second hearing. Here's the chair, Tarver, talking about the importance of that communication.
Consistent with the House's practice in the investigations of former Governor Rod Blagojevich, former Representative Derek Smith, and similar to the investigation into former Speaker Madigan, it is my recommendation that before proceeding further into gathering information, this committee should consult with the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of Illinois, Mr. Greg M. Gilmore, to avoid taking any action that he would consider an interference with an ongoing federal investigation. I would ask for approval that a letter be sent by this committee to Mr. Gilmore, seeking to obtain any relevant information that he possesses and to receive guidance on whether an investigation by this committee would be considered an interference with this federal investigation.
And that resolution was agreed upon by the entire committee. Be sure to get the latest on this story as it develops, both at the federal criminal level, but also at the State House investigative level. Get all the details at thecentersquare.com.